Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? So we are going live, and we're going to be talking about peace and confidence and how that works in our lives, right? So let's talk about who I am. Hey, everybody. My name is Sharice Richardson, confidence coach, speaker, and founder of Faithful Leaders Network. And tonight we're talking about something that affects every area of our lives is peace and confidence, right? It's something that we really don't talk about too often because a lot of people don't believe that confidence is in every area of our lives. And I am trying to teach people that confidence is something that is in every single area of our life. And so many people are trying to show up confidently on the outside while internally battling pressure, fear, anxiety, overthinking, and having emotional exhaustion. All right. And so we're going to talk a little bit of that today in this group. So tonight we're talking about um, just showing up and just having a real conversation about the piece. And I want you to comment in the comments. I want you to interact with me. Even if you look at this later and it's not right now, I want you to interact and I want you to know that this is a big part of your life because it impacts every decision that you make, relationships, leadership, the way you show up in everyday life, right? So this is very important. So go ahead, settle in. If you need to get your notepad, get your notepad. And forgive me if I'm looking at my screen. I'm looking at my screen as I'm talking to you because my camera is up here in the corner. So if it looks like I'm not looking at you, I am looking at you. I'm just used to looking straight ahead, right? When teaching, I gotta configure some things to be able to put my webcam in the right place. So forgive me for that if it does not seem like I'm talking to you, girl, but I am. Okay. All right. So moving from peace instead of pressure. Tonight I want to talk about something, that like I said, it's connected, right? It's connected. True confidence is eternal before it's external. I'm gonna say that again. True confidence is internal before it's external, right? Because we don't think that a lot of people try to think that confidence is putting on jewelry or putting on some lipstick or buying a handbag and all these different things, and that is far from the truth. That is exempt from what confidence is. Confidence is none of those things, right? And some of the most confident people are not the loudest people in the room. Sometimes, like, it used to be portrayed at one point in time as that the person that's the loudest in the room is the most confident, but that's not always true. Sometimes the person that's the loudest is the least confident, and they're not confident in themselves, so they have to explain themselves or make themselves feel big in a room because they feel really small, right? And that's something I have learned from corporate. I used to work in corporate industry, and I used to train employees, and I used to travel from store to store. And when I did that, I learned a lot about people. And I thank God for allowing me to do those things because what happened is it opened the door for me to realize that these people really don't know who they are. They have a lot of identity issues. They have a lot of issues with knowing that they get so upset about certain things. And it's like, honey, it is not really not that serious, right? But as I became more confident in who I was able to help those people understand that, right? So it's not about appearance at all. And so that's one of the things that I really want to make sure I make people understand. Now I'm not gonna say that appearance is not a part of it, but it's not strictly about appearance, if that makes sense. So as we continue to move through this, I just want you to take notes. I talk fast, so forgive me ahead of time. And I talk fast normally. That's just how I talk. And so I'm not trying to speed through the conversation. I will definitely try to slow down so that you can get the meat of the conversation. Okay. So one thing I've learned is that you cannot fully walk in confidence if you are constantly living in fear, anxiety, pressure, confusion, and emotional chaos. You probably need to write that down. You cannot fully walk in confidence if you are constantly living in fear, anxiety, pressure, confusion, and emotional chaos. Your peace matters. If nobody has told you, Sharice is telling you now, your peace matters. Peace is not weakness, peace is not laziness, and peace is not pretending everything is perfect. And I can tell you this just from experience. I have tried to make it seem like peace was something that was everything. Like everything is perfect, everything has its own place. And I'm kind of still like that. But as God is dealing with me, I am coming out of that season. It's like, look, girl, everything ain't perfect. You have been through so much stuff in your life. Acknowledge where you are. Acknowledge that it's okay to cry. Acknowledge that it's okay to hurt. Acknowledge that you went through these things and God brought you out of them so that you're able to help somebody else. Right? A lot of you are trying to be so hard that you can't even help somebody who's going through because you're trying to act like nothing happened. It happened, shit. It happened, okay? All right. Peace is stability and peace is emotional alignment. Peace is trusting God even while things are still unfolding, right? One thing I know about God is that He's a provider. One thing I know about God, He is faithful, right? He is worthy. He is all these things. And so I trust Him regardless of what it may look like. It may look like things gonna go left. Sometimes it go left up until like a certain point, and then He be like, ta-da. That's what it seemed like. Like he was like dancing, like, here you go. And I'd be like shaking my head, like, why you just didn't do this sooner? Like, because you got me over here about to stress and pull out all my edges, and I need those, and I ain't got that many, okay? I don't got that much. All right. And so some of us have spent years operating from survival mode that we have to be strong. We have to try to show up for everybody, right? We have to be strong for everybody. And I have been in this same situation, like trying to show up for everybody. And don't get me wrong, people gonna be mad and upset and all of the things, but how are you gonna show up if you can't? And it's okay to say right now I just ain't got it, or I can't do it, or I want to do it, but it don't look like it's gonna happen, right? Some things are just not going to happen, and we gotta be okay with that. Okay? Be okay with it. We feel like we got to always figure things out. We have to always carry out all the responsibilities. We have to always deal with the grief, the pressure, the business, the stress, the family stress, the financial stress, the relationship stress, right? And we got to deal with the disappointment. You got to deal with all these things, and you're trying to carry all that and still help out everybody else in your family. How are you going to be able to do that? I'm pausing because I want you to answer. I want you to answer it. I want you to comment for me and tell me how are you going to be able to do that? And even if you, like I told you before, even if your comment is later, it might not be right now. I want you to comment in the comments. Give me some feedback, right? What are some areas in your life that God is trying to unfold for you, but you're still standing in fear? What are some things that God is trying to tell you to trust Him in, and you are battling that trust, right? You're battling how to figure that out. It's all of us have things that we're still trying to battle. Like for me, I would say it would be finances, right? I'm always trying to figure it out, and God, like, if you kind of let me do this, you don't have to figure everything out so much, because it's not that I try to steward it well. I pay my tithes, baby. I don't play with that. That's your money, it ain't mine. So I'm not gonna play with your tithes. I give him his tithes up front, okay? Don't play with that. So I'm a giver, no, hands down. If somebody needs something and I got it, I have no problem, helping that person. But sometimes them little months, because I have went from two incomes to one, those little months be looking like I be looking like crazy, like, Jesus, hold on now. What's going on here, right? And so I have to trust him with the increase. Of course, I try to do little things on the side, spark, and I set up, shop with my accessories and do all these different things to try to bring in income as well. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna sit here and stress about something that I don't even have control over in the first place. I'm like, God, I'm gonna need you just to help. I'm gonna need you to do it because I'm struggling in this area right now. And I need you to be upfront with him and let him know that you're struggling in whatever area it is that you're struggling in. I think that's the big issue. You have to let him know, right? So, and the funny thing is, after a while, survival mode starts to feel normal. It starts to get to a place where it's just like, it's normal. It's normal because I've been through it already. It's normal. You start to get to a place where it's normal. Like your struggle is normal. It's a normal situation. It's normal for you. So the struggle becomes normal. Living confidently, it's not the same. Surviving and living confidently are not the same thing. But because you have been through so much, your survival mode starts to feel normal. You start to feel like this is what I'm doing, right? And so Then what happens is when you're always in survival mode, you're always overthinking every situation. You're always in a place, you're second guessing yourself all the time. You struggle with sleeping at night. You can't sleep, you can't rest. I had that same struggle sometimes. I'll be up and I'm talking about whoa. And what I start doing is I start, speaking in tongues, praying. But sometimes I'm strolling and I need to be asleep. But I can't go to sleep because my anxiety is up. How I'm gonna do this, what I'm gonna do, when it's gonna come, right? I know I'm talking to somebody. You might not be commenting now, but I know that I'm talking to somebody. Okay. I know I'm talking to you, right? You constantly feel behind. You feel like no matter what you do, you can't catch up with other people. You was trying to figure out how in the world did this chick over here business take off. But she only been doing her business for 2 years, and I've been doing my business for 6. And it seems like my business ain't going nowhere, but her business is taking off, right? You constantly comparing yourself to other people, right? You panic when things don't move fast enough, right? I have been in all these situations I'm naming, so that's what I'm trying to tell you how I know, because I can't teach you something I ain't been through. I don't care what nobody say. Experience is the best teacher, right? You chase validation because internal, you don't feel secure, right? I don't feel like I'm secure. Like when I was married and I was with my husband, I felt secure. I knew them bills was gonna get paid, right? Because I know that's he was going to go make that money to pay them bills. I didn't second guess nothing, right? And now I sit here and I'm like, oh my God, like how am I gonna pay this? What's gonna come out? How am I do that? And God, like, wait a minute, because I thought I was the provider. I thought I was the provider, right? And so this is why peace is so important in your life, right? Peace allows your mind to settle enough so you can, see clearly, so you can hear clearly, so you can think clearly, so you can move with intention instead of moving on impulse, right? Instead of you moving and just be like, oh, I just got to get things done. No, 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 no. I need to intentionally move. I need to figure out what things I need to do to get this done, not just moving just because. Sometimes we think confidence means moving fast, but confidence is also knowing when to pause. It's knowing when to stop, right? My confidence, sometimes I don't say nothing. I just look. I'm good at it. I'm good at it. The people that know me and my friends will tell you I'm good at hushing when it's time to hush. I sit there and I look. Now, when we clown and we might be having a good time, that's fine. But sometimes I won't say nothing. I just look. I look around the room. I'm scanning. I'm seeing who's in the room. Who's this person? What's going on? Right? I'm scanning. I don't always talk because sometimes you don't need to. Confidence is knowing when to set boundaries. Confidence is also discernment, right? Confidence is also saying no. Okay? In to the O. I ain't gonna be able to do that today. I can't. I'm sorry. I love you, but that's not gonna happen today, right? Confidence also refusing to abandon yourself, right? Self-care, getting yourself together, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, like sitting, going to get a massage, getting your toes rubbed, whatever it is that you gotta do, right? It's just doing something for yourself, right? Confidence is refusing to abandon yourself. I can't abandon myself because I'm confident in who God called me to be. I'm confident in the assignment, so I can't abandon myself, right? Many people are exhausted because they are trying to maintain an image instead of protecting their peace. Many people are exhausted. And I'm going to put this in the chat. I'm going to put this in the chat. Don't worry about it. I'm putting in the chat for you because I believe that it's something that you need to know. So I'm going to put it in here if I can. If it allows me to, I'm going to put it in the chat. It's acting a little crazy, so I will put it in there for you. But it's definitely acting crazy. It's not even coming up right now. So I'll put it in the chat for you. So many people are exhausted because they are trying to maintain an image instead of protecting their peace. All right. And so I just want to say this clearly tonight because I want to make sure that I clear up some of the confusion that the enemy is trying to place in your mind, in your heart. You don't have to prove your worth to anybody. Once I learned this secret right here, it set me free. I do not have to prove myself to nobody. Isn't that freeing? I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I keep saying that because I want you to understand that. You ain't got to prove yourself to nobody. You don't have to compete for your value. You don't have to force yourself into spaces when you are constantly overlooked. You don't have to force yourself into spaces. You don't have to force yourself to go. You don't have to force yourself to come here. You ain't got to force yourself. You don't have to keep shrinking yourself to make others feel more confident and comfortable about themselves. Mm-mm. You don't have to do none of that no more. This is what knowing your true identity, understanding who you are, understanding who God made you to be. This is why it's so important. And this is one of the reasons why I want you to join the Faithful Leaders Network, not just the Facebook group, but the actual membership, because there is a membership. If you visit the website, if you go to ShariceRichardson.com, there is a actual membership for Faithful Leaders Network. And what that membership does is a little bit more of this, but it's on a different level. You take courses, you have workbooks, you have all different things. And then once a month, we have a live discussion that nobody else is invited to unless they're inside of the group. And we have that discussion and we talk about different things in our lives. We talk about different situations. We talk about how to get over the fear and anxiety. We pray for you, all those different things. If you are looking for a community of believers who love God and also who are trying to figure out what that next looks like, then you need to join the group. Okay. So the link is in the bio. If you go to my website, you will find it, ShariceRichardson.com. You will always find it. It's always going to be there. Okay. And so I will say this: once you know who you are, you stop needing constant approval from other people. You stop needing them to give you that approval, right? I don't look for the approval anymore because I know who I am. I know who God called me to be. And what I have noticed, and this is something I noticed when I started serving, I noticed that God would show me like even things I didn't even know how to do, right? When I my first year of teaching at a school, I had never taught before, not at a school. Now I had trained adults for many years, but I never teaching children is something different though. It's on a different level. And so, but what I was teaching, so I always taught leadership, customer service, just all those type of things. Always leadership, customer service, how to speak to a person, how to, create manuals, all those different things. But I never, ever taught chemistry or biology. And that's what I was doing. And God, when I tell you God showed out, because you couldn't tell that I didn't know how to that I never taught that before. Like God showed out, and that's what I mean. Like once you figure out who you are and your identity, you don't have to be worried about stuff like that because God got you. So that doesn't mean that you still won't have moments of insecurity. That doesn't mean that you still won't have moments of fear, right? But when it comes up, you remember the word. The word says God's not giving us spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. That is one of my favorite scriptures, right? That doesn't mean that you'll never have questions about yourself. But when you have questions about yourself, you go to the one who made you and say, hey, I'm having a mindset. I got a mindset here. I'm feeling some type of way about this. What does it look like? What is it? How is it feeling? What are some things that why am I feeling this way? Right? But what it does mean, and I just need you to really listen to this, it means that fear no longer controls your decisions. If there's nothing else that I said tonight, I want you to know that this means that fear no longer controls who you are. And that is like the best sandwich you can make. Girl, listen, that's the best sandwich you can make. The best one, right? It don't got no control over it. It don't control who I am no more. It don't control my decisions. It don't control nothing. Y'all better talk to me in these comments. Y'all better speak to me. That's all I'm gonna say. Right. So there's a difference between feeling fear and being led by fear, right? You can't allow sometimes fear comes up, but you can't let it to lead you. The word says, Lord, lead me and guide me into all truth. That's what he does. That's what the Holy Spirit does. He leads you and guides you into all truth. So that means I can't be led by nothing else because that means that I allow that to take over instead of the master, right? See, they ain't gonna tell you that. They ain't gonna tell you that, right? A confident person sometimes does feel like, sometimes we feel uncomfortable, we feel overwhelmed, we feel frustrated, we have those moments, right? We still feel nervous, like you may be still going through healing process, but continue showing up anyway. Continue showing up for yourself. You owe it to you if you don't owe it to nobody else, right? And so that's one thing that I will continue to tell you is just to protect your confidence. Peace helps your confidence. Peace protects your confidence. Okay. And so when you're, surrounded by negativity, gossip, one thing I don't mean, Sharice, I'm not a gossip. I'm not with it. I don't like it. I don't feel like it because I feel like it's a place for it, and I feel like the place ain't for me to listen to. I'm sorry. The place ain't for me to listen to it. I don't want to hear it. Like, girl, the pressure, the toxic relationships, the comparison, the emotional stability, the gossip, it's just too much for me. It's too difficult. I can't think clearly about who I am. I can't think clearly about my future. I can't talk to God because I'm up here talking about something. He don't want to hear that. I'm just telling y'all the truth, right? And so your environment matters, who you listen to matters, what you consume matters. Like, I try my best to not listen to, if I'm listening to an R&B song, I be like, hey, make sure the version is clean. I tell my kids I want to listen to the clean version. Don't put that foolishness on in my car. I don't want to hear that. I try my best. Like, my friends, they respect me. They try to, even if they're not all the way there yet, they try not to, don't curse around me. All things, my family, the same way, right? Because the thing I put this in front of my face is who I am. I'm not changing. So they understand that and they respect it and they love me for it. And that's real family. When they respect you and love you and understand, hey, we good. But what I would say is this, that some people destroy their own confidence. They destroy every piece of it because they keep saying, I'm not enough. I'll never get there. Nobody supports me. I always fail. I'm too old, right? I'm behind. I'm not qualified. And let me tell y'all something. When I first got my degree, when I first went to school to get my business degree, I was like, Lord, these are children. Like, some of these people in here are so young. But it was one lady, she was 60 years old, and she gave me the light I needed. She was like, I'm 60, but I need this for myself. And I was like, if more of us thought like that, she was 60 years old getting the same degree I was getting, but she said, I need this for me. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else and what they need. I need this for me. And so I need you to comment and put in the comments, I need this for, and I want you to put your name. So for me, I need this for Sharice. I don't need this for you. I need this for me. So the next time you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling like frustrated. You're feeling that, you know, you feel like you got to be perfect because confidence is not perfection either, and confidence, but confidence is consistency. And so I need you to be more consistent with what you say out your mouth. Be consistent and say that God loves me. That God will never leave me or forsake me, that He is showing me how to do this, even when I don't know how to do it. He is showing me the patterns of my life. He is correcting my path. He is showing me what needs to be done and how I need to do it. He's giving me an assignment because comparison destroys peace. I don't need you comparing yourself to nobody, right? And so I just want you to know who you are. So the next time when you are going through, I want you to say, my journey is different. My timing is different. My assignment is different. I'm going to say that one more time. My journey is different. My timing is different. My assignment is different. And I am in my planting season, my healing season, my rebuilding season, and soon it will be my harvest season. Okay. I want you to stop that. Stop. And I need you to understand that you just stop dishonoring your temple. Start acknowledging that you need confidence in your life. That confidence is faithful in every place. All right. So I'm going to end this live. I hope that you guys got a good word. I hope that you understand what's going on, and I need you to launch that business. I need you to go back to school. I need you to start over, whatever you got to do to be able to get your peace, whatever that is. Set boundaries, set a schedule. Just start believing in yourself. It's so worth it, you guys. It's so worth it. All the things that I've been through, and I'm doing this live, and I'm telling you because I know I've been there. God will give you peace while grieving, while learning, while healing, while waiting. He will give you all the strength that you need to process what you're supposed to process. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, and I'm gonna put these questions in the chat as well for you. And the questions are: what has been stealing my peace? Because I think that's a very important question. What has been stealing my peace? That's number one. Number two is, have I been operating from fear or confidence? I'm going to say that one more time. Have I been operating from fear or confidence? Number three, am I constantly seeking validation? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Number four, what negative thoughts have I repeatedly agreed with? So, what things are negative in my life, but I just keep agreeing with it? I keep saying that's who I am. I keep saying that's who I am. Because I had to catch myself today. Because I had almost said I was broke. And I said, hold on, no, wait. I'm not broke. We're not doing that. No, I'm not. We're not doing that. I'm not broke or broken. Understand me? We're not doing that. And the next one is number five. What would change in my life if I truly believe I was capable? So if you truly believe that you was capable of all things that God has said you were able to do, what would you do with it? Confidence is not becoming somebody else. Confidence is agreeing with the assignment and becoming who God said you are today. All right. So I want you to stay grounded in God's peace. I love you. And again, if you want to join the Faithful Leaders Network, you go to ShariceRichardson.com. You can read about it, and go ahead and join the group. It's worth it. I'll talk to you guys soon. I love you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Peace out, y'all. Bye.